it's just been the 4th of July, so you know what that means. Happy birthday, Post Malone. I've got 4 albums to highlight the month of June, starting with Asake's work of art. It's Nigerian pop music that is clean, solemn, laced with strings. The piano chords sound like trickling liquid. You know what it sound like? I've got Nigerian pop music here. It's clean, solemn, laced with strings in my signature detail. Fuck this shit, bro. You don't need any backstory. You don't need any musical familiarity with Nigerian pop music in general. You just need a good attitude and just an ability to hit the play button. Highlighting certain tracks, I'd go with Awodi, Sunshine, and What's Up, My G. Secondly, Surgeon's Crash Recoil. This is not going to sound like a lot if you're looking for big, scratchy textures, but maybe realign those expectations and listen out for something a lot more cerebral, an inner thumping groove, something that's coming from deep within the id. And what you'll get is a record that will ever so surely creep up on you. I'd say the track listing really begins hitting its stride in like the second half of the album, minus a slightly underwhelming closer, but we've got Leadership Contest, then Masks and Archetypes, and Subcultures. 3 great tracks there. Number 3 pick is Amaarae's Fountain Baby. This is clear off a lot of pop albums this year, even though it kind of does trail off during the last 5 tracks, but those first 2/3, whew! As far as Afrobeats inspired pop music from this month goes, it certainly packed a lot more punch than the astoundingly drab return from Janelle Monáe. This one right here, though, is solid food. Amaarae has a really light, wispy voice that could wear thin if it weren't for how well she uses it. She guides it around the instrumentals like a lithe skink. The Timbaland-esque Counterfeit is a great example of this, but there's also room for cinematic scope on this LP. So we've also got great tracks like Angels in Tibet, and what I think is the best track, Disguise. For my 4th highlight, I wanted to go with something robust and pleasant, like Feeble Little Horse, but I honestly had more fun listening to Tisakorean's Let Me Update My Status, which I can't say is at all a dignified dose for the ears, but it made me laugh a lot, and look, that means a lot, man, that means a lot. Let me get the water. This month's A-Mix, the newest and hottest tracks of June this year, kick off with Sufyososwirl by Caterina Barbieri. A scatter of blaring synth notes that seem to converge towards a trend before crystallizing. If this one bamboozles you at first, then listen specifically for the timbre of the notes, the texture, the shape. Sunsleeper by Barry Can't Swim with its grinning piano solo. Awodi by Asake, followed by Disguise by Amaarae. Touching Yourself by The Japanese House. Frosty on the outside, warm and blushing on the inside. We got the old earthy Australian indie heavyweight Robert Forster with the bold dust-kicking song Always.
The birds are in flight, always.
Good album, by the way. Grass by Agar from the soundtrack to the video game Player Non-Player.
Sexually falling down into my pocket. It's in my pocket. Oh no.
Meteor by Kenya Grace, which is a simple but gorgeous glint in the eye of liquid drum and bass.
If we had one day left on earth, would you call me? Would you call me?
Unsiento by Grupo Fontera.
Y lo usaré solo para decirte lo mucho que lo siento.
This is this Tex-Mex band's first Hot 100 hit, and I imagine that's because it features reggaeton sensation Bad Bunny in the second half, who I already think is pop music's best voice right now. Just so sharp and whiny in all the right ways. I will say, I think his entrance on this song is pretty cheesy. It sounds almost like they dimmed the lights and dumped the spotlight on him, but up until that point I was already pretty charmed, so didn't really mind. In last month's video, I really sang the praises of Auckland indie band Club Ruby and their debut single, BADA, Bada. And Club Ruby have just dropped a new track called Weekend, which makes me convinced that this band is frankly doing everything right. Even down to their socials and interviews, they're literally like a club. They're as inclusive, they're uplifting, but at the same time, it's like an inside joke between friends. It's like you've got to know to know. Under Your Spell by Snow Strippers is truly something else. It's actually like being trapped under a snowbound roof. And Angel by Pinkpantheress, which is my favorite takeaway from the soundtrack to Greta Gerwig's Barbie movie.
One day my baby just went away.
I will finish off the A mix with a bit of a yarn. This song right here is probably the purest joy I've felt this year listening to a song. It's the Krusty Krew Anthem by Oddwin, Cash Crabs, Source Word. Jesus Christ.
Brand new bag for pro, but I didn't pay for it. I don't like spending that cash.
This is one of many day-brightening SpongeBob SquarePants themed hip-hop songs from homegrown rapper and producer Oddwin. Anyone from our generational cohort will probably wax poetic about how SpongeBob SquarePants seasons 1 to 3 is probably like the best animated TV that there is. Aged so well, still so funny. I'm not one to disagree at all. I wouldn't be so heartless to do so. Everyone's real love for this viral track kind of goes to show that everyone also remembers it just as fondly. I mean, how many times have you brought up in conversation, oh, do you remember this? Oh, this is like that SpongeBob episode where blah blah blah. And the fact they managed to get Mr. Krabs and Squidward on the beat is insane. I mean, I thought them bastards sold out. But on the real, even if this song ends up just being one of those novelties that passes after a couple of months, like 645 AR or Mario Judah, for the time being, I'm still just laughing at how well crafted the whole thing is. To impersonate a cartoon character and still get spine-chilling delivery out of lines like, the ice on my wrist will forever glow, ye eaten holograms live in a lie. It's something you couldn't get out of a half-assed gag. Good jokes have craft behind them, great jokes will be remembered in time to come. And don't even get me started on the music video. It's by the Ronin Rice Guru on YouTube. It's gorgeous, it's hand-drawn animation, it makes the song, frankly, better. I should mention though that because of an ownership contract that Oddwin signed for the Krusty Pack EP, can't believe I'm saying that. But basically what I'm saying is that because of UMG, Ronin doesn't receive revenue for that video anymore. So if you saw it and dug it, I'd recommend maybe showing some love to his channel, some support to his videos and his Patreon, because I'm sure he has much more magic in the hat. Okay, moving on to the B mix now. This is all songs outside of the current year that I've been listening to, starting with the Slits cover of I Heard It Through the Grapevine, which I have to say, with astonishment, is a good one.
You could have told me yourself that you love.
If you've ever been at a public transport station late in the night, then you'll probably understand a little bit of why I think the atmosphere and the bizarre pace of Zealots by the Fugees is so good to me.
So while you fuming, I'm consuming mango juice under Polaris. You just embarrassed, cause it's your last tango in Paris.
I love Lauryn Hill's verse on this song. I've heard it so many times at this point, it's almost like words from a best friend. Although I will say she's wrong when she says two MCs cannot occupy space at the same time. Scody Cody's been on that game. One of my favorite recordings from Kurt Cobain / Nirvana, it's the 1993 Live at Del Mar performance of Aneurysm. Just heavy, fierce chugging towards self-immolation. And then another classic live performance, the Highwaymen performing Johnny Cash's Ghost Riders in the Sky.
On horses snorting fire, as they ride on, hear them cry.
Maxwell Murder by the East Bay punk band Rancid. The subject matter of this song has been debated over the years, but I've come to think that it's not about Maxwell Silverhammer. I'm pretty certain it's about the specific case of Maxwell Confeit's murder and the real sketchy procedures done by the police in the UK. 999 used to be the emergency number over there, so I'm pretty sure that adds to the... You get what I'm saying. American Venom by Woody Jackson from the Red Dead Redemption 2 soundtrack. And then Makeba by Jane. This one's been really big on TikTok lately, and I love the song. I'm really glad that it's been catching lots of wind. Next up is Legal Man by Bell and Sebastian. Then We Are the People by Empire of the Sun, who were always kind of the off-brand MGMT kind of, but they had a lot of bangers that showed that that wasn't so much of a shameful thing to be. And I finished the month off with a real earth mover, the Portland Americana band Richmond Fontaine on their 2002 album. They have this track that sounds ripped from the ether. It's an aching tidal wave of an instrumental piece. It's called Paddy's Retreat, and the first time I heard it, I was just about in tears. So I'll leave you with that, one of the best tracks I heard for the first time this year so far. And that is it for June 2023. We're at the midpoint of the year. I know it's cold and rainy in Auckland right now, but keep it sunny in your heart. I'm out. Peace.